They're freaked out that Ted Cruz and Congressman Gohmert and Governor Abbott and Chuck Norris and so many other people are concerned about military operations in the U.S. And it's because in the last 6-7 years, as the military publicly began training to take on veterans, gun owners, conservatives, libertarians, Christians, folks didn't believe me at first, but they went and read the documents at Army.mil and at the Army War College. And they saw training in their cities and towns. And they see the movies and TV and entertainment branding the next war as domestic against the Patriots. This is the final mop-up operation. They just want to set all this up and not have a debate about it. So they want to just keep saying it doesn't exist, like NSA spying or open borders or the rest of it. They want to play that game so we never have a debate about, hey, do we want preparations for martial law and why are they being made? And then at Infowars.com out to the end, you'll find articles that we wrote in 2012 when this was said at a major Pentagon conference, that much of which was televised on C-SPAN. And they said, CONUS will be dominated. We will master the human domain. We've played some of these clips domestically, and we're going to roll out troops on the streets as part of Brigade Homeland. And when we're done, we're going to have rotated jobs out of the last batch of military recruits that have now served 3 to 5 years. We will have 400,000+ domestic troops on the streets of America. That was in the news in 2012. And I was reading an article at Infowars.com today by Daniel Taylor, and it was quoting these generals and then linking to where they said it. Document, Jade Helm commander plans to operationalize the CONUS base. Now, that's today. The guys just Googled what I said. You found an article that we wrote a couple years ago. Let's pull it up. Good job finding it that fast. Document, well, that's another article. You had one before that. Army manual outlines plan to kill rioters, demonstrators in America. Yeah, that's 2012. Thank you. Print that for me. Because now one of our auxiliary riders has dug up the same thing. But it's kind of a nightmare where I keep rediscovering stuff I'd forgotten. Now, this is all important because it's all public Army documents, how they're going to mow us down and kill us. But when you go past that, we now have new video from 2 days ago where the military is training to confiscate guns. I was thinking today, there are headlines about free speech to be banned in England. If you even criticize gays or Muslims, you'll just be arrested. They're actually trying to pass a law. What we always warned of. And then articles about forced inoculations going on all over the Western world, even though there's not a law in place. And just the most bizarre, tyrannical things you can imagine unfolding. It makes your head spin. And announcements by the Democrats that they want to regulate the internet and free speech, as we warned you they would do. And the Republican leadership being part of it. But then at the same time, there's a lot of good news that I see every day. And the reason the power structure is coming down with both feet right now worldwide, the reason the establishment is on a warpath is an attempt to keep us all on the reservation, on the plantation, because they know there's a slave revolt happening. And do you know why I got upset? I knew every word in the article. In fact, will you guys print me the article I asked you to pull up if you Google that term? The headline is Army Trains to Kill Demonstrators. And it goes back to the Army document 2012 and mentions Northcom and domestic control of everything we do and surveilling everyone. Army manual outlines plan to kill rioters, demonstrators in America. But in that, it mentions the document that's in the new article today. Document, Jade Helm commander plans to operationalize the CONUS base. or the contiguous U.S., the continental U.S. And it's all right here that, yes, Jade Helm is run and is a domestic takeover plan. That's why they're freaking out so much. And there's more when we come back.
We're on
gun confiscation drills with the police and just not even address the propagandists. Because they just want us to address them and change the subject about making this a debate. It is nauseating, head spinning, how many thousands of white papers and books and statements and C-SPAN hearings and Defense Department briefings that are online at the Defense Department's websites. So much of this stuff that I can't even consciously remember 5% of it. And then I'll be doing research on what's currently happening and then just go back over the same research we've had for years. And I'm like, wow, I forgot they had the admission of the civilian inmate labor camp program and how they're going to break up our families and process us with Social Security numbers and put us into forced work brigades. I mean, that's on army.mil. Or how they admit domestic total CONUS domination to take out empowered individuals who are politically motivated and leading others. It describes shutting down peaceful citizen activity, taking over the states. And that's just in one Army document for CONUS under the meeting titled Mastering the Human Domain 2012. And I was mentioning this last week. We did special reports with David Knight and others on it on Monday. And Rob Dew, and then our listeners and other writers went and dug in and went, yeah, the commander of Jade Helm had press briefings, and in the manuals is the preparation to take on the American people. Yes, yes. We're going to get to it. The commander of Jade Helm runs the domestic homeland security operation to suppress the American people during unrest. That is in an Army document linked at Infowars.com to the Army. Document Jade Helm commander plans to operationalize the CONUS base. Going to read you the quotes. That's today, Infowars.com. Now, here's the new one from Infowars.com, and Gary Franchi has compiled at the Next News Network. He has compiled special forces train with cops for house-to-house raids. South Carolina residents warned they may encounter military vehicles. This is what they said Jade Helm is, working with local police. Well, we know from Iowa in Arcadia, stuff that happened 4 years ago, and others, it was for gun confiscation. They admit it in the newspaper. We're going to practice raiding the local gun shop and then confiscating guns door to door in the town of 600. Roughly about 300 homes. It was in the newspaper. We read out of the newspaper. And then they came out and said, no, it's not true. Alex Jones made that up. This is what's going on. So let's go ahead and play this report out of Richland County, South Carolina. This is not the SAGE operations and others that they've had in the past. This is the preparation to condition the public for snatch and grab teams to augment the police and the nationwide rollout of what was quietly being prepared in 2005, 2006, 2007, which was previously rolled out under Clinton, but then suspended. So I'm not partisan, but under Democrats, the domestic arm of this grows. Let's go ahead and go to this special report. It's on Infowars.com. Here it is.
Breaking news out of South Carolina. In what appears to be the second such drill, special forces have been deployed domestically alongside local sheriffs to train for midnight raids in Richland County. Footage you're seeing right now is the 3rd Special Forces Group out of Fort Bragg conducting a nighttime raid during an exercise. This is the Special Forces unit deployed. Sheriff Leon Lott stated that, quote, Richland County is an ideal location for training that cannot be replicated at Fort Bragg. Coordinating with the Special Forces will be the county's Special Response Team, or SWAT, to provide, quote, simulated scenarios for the military. What's more chilling than coordinated domestic raid training is that official reports state that live ordnance and gunfire will be employed. To top it off, the media has been restricted from any kind of embedded reporting to provide transparency for the drills.
Targets on the objective! Engage!
Now you can add this drill to the long list of domestic training exercises that have occurred so far this year. FEMA Camp Roundup drills in Florida, martial law training in California, Marines prepping for riot control in Virginia, and of course the mother of all drills, Jade helm. This is another glaring example of the militarization of local police nationwide, who have received nearly $500 million in military equipment from the Department of Defense. So this begs the question, who is training who? When local sheriffs receive military equipment and then the special forces train alongside SWAT, the lines are blurred. The color of authority is transferred to the local police as they become a militarized force. Local law enforcement can't violate posse comitatus, but they can use the same equipment and tactics as the military, making them one and the same. Just a different jurisdiction, thus skirting the law and violating the Constitution. The next question is, who is the intended target? Well, I'll leave that up to you in the comment section below. I'll give you a hint. You train where you deploy. For the Next News Network, I'm Gary Franchi.